Last question that came in from the Facebook world came in from Bill. Great question. He said, thoughts on the Bill DeMott scandal and him stepping down as head trainer in the WWE just a few hours ago. For anybody that doesn't know, if you're new to the world of Wrestler Cato, I trained guys in the wrestling business for 8 years. I trained a lot of the local central Pennsylvania talent, at least the good ones, I'll say. I trained the good local central PA talent. No disrespect to anybody that wasn't trained by Cato. But, oh, come on now. Some of you out there just got red-faced and mad. Some of you local guys, take it easy. It's a work. Anyway, in 2001, I started training guys locally. And the things that he got in trouble for, or at least was accused of, I don't want to say got in trouble for, because while I understand he stepped down on his own, he wasn't really forced out or left go, included his general bullying and his repeated use of gay slurs. And I can tell you, when I started in 2001, I was much younger, 26. And the things that I would say to people and the way that I would conduct myself was far worse than probably anything that Bill DeMott said or did to anybody. I was of the mindset in 2000, in the early 2000s, that you had to earn your way. You had to earn your way physically and mentally. And if you couldn't take the physical and mental abuse that I was giving you by way of wrestling training, then maybe wrestling wasn't for you. Because it's not easy, man. When you're out there and you're hurting and you're still trying your best to give a good show, it's not easy. A lot of you guys know that. So I felt it was my obligation to really make things difficult, training difficult. I didn't charge a lot of money. I never made money on wrestling training. I charged guys enough so I could pay my rent, but I didn't make much money training guys. With that being said, I turned out some really, really good wrestlers. Guys that I'm still proud of today that are out there doing it. So, but getting back to Bill DeMott, do I think he should have been fired for the way that he was conducting himself? If indeed he was bullying guys or using insensitive, quote-unquote, insensitive gay slurs. And my answer is yes. He should have been let go. Now, some of you are going to say, boy, that's pretty, that's you know, Cato, you just said you did those things. Why was it okay for you and it's not okay for Bill DeMott? And here's my answer. It wasn't okay for me to do it. It isn't okay for me to do it. As I've grown, as I've learned, as I've matured as a human being, I realized that the way I conducted myself was completely wrong and inappropriate. I have no time for bullies. I have no time for mistreatment of people. And as far as the gay slurs, I could not be more sickened to think about or to talk about those things. Now, I understand that wrestling is often at times a very low-educated fan base. And that's not across the board, but go to an indie show, go to a WWE event, and understand that, look around. I'm sure you're going to have doctors sitting in that crowd and lawyers, but a large percent of those folks are of a lower educated realm. And I'm not saying they're stupid. They just weren't given the same opportunities as other folks. So, but at that same time, you're bringing in wrestlers who are from that culture. So those guys are coming up through that. But irregardless, the bottom line is, today, 2015, if you were using a racial slur, a gay slur, anything that's homophobic in a corporate setting like the WWE, you should be fired. It's unacceptable. I can't go to my job, nor would I want to, but I can't go to my job and use any type of slurs of any type against anybody, and I should not be allowed to. So why, in a training center where it's a very corporate business world, would he be allowed to bully or use the type of slurs that he's accused of being used? That's part of it. Now, completely unrelated to that, I don't know the guy. He may be super nice and a great guy. But the truth is, why was Bill DeMott ever training wrestlers to wrestle for the WWE? Someone please explain that to me. He may be the super nicest guy, and he may be a hard worker, and I'm not saying there's not a place for him somewhere in the WWE. But if I am in the business of creating superstars, and that is my job is to create superstars, larger-than-life images, why would I want Bill DeMott in charge of that? I know who else I wouldn't hire for that. Cato. What the hell have I ever done? When you have guys out there like Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, guys who have genuinely drawn money, even to a lesser degree, Arn Anderson, Dusty Rhodes, these guys who have genuinely, and not that Dusty to a lesser degree, but because he was, white hot lightning fire at a certain point. But you have all these guys who are great workers, great talkers, great money draws, which is what is most important in wrestling, guys. Most important in wrestling, drawing money. Why are we giving this job to Bill DeMott? Get me somebody who's been a star, knows how to be a star, and knows how to draw money. Get him in there to teach these guys how to draw and make money. Don't get me a guy in there that knows how to take a good bump. I've seen lots of guys who can take great bumps. That doesn't mean they could draw a dime. Literally, I'm not sure they could draw on a piece of paper what a dime is. So that was always my question, long before any of this came out. Why are we putting a guy like this in charge of developing stars? And that's what it should be. There should be no NXT, I'm developing wrestlers, because that's not a game that draws money. Whether anybody wants to buy it, believe it or not, that's the truth. Wrestlers do not draw money. Punch my face if you want. Hate me. What the truth is, wrestlers don't draw money, stars draw money. So get me a guy in there that can draw money to teach other guys to draw money. And it's not Bill DeMott. God bless you if you're out there and by some random chance you hear this nobody sitting behind his microphone talking. But that's the truth.